Good afternoon, Superkickin with Steven fans. Glad to be here, ready to talk up some Raw, some SmackDown. Then we'll get into the Wednesday Night War, which we've kind of talked about a little bit. That sounds like NXT is going to be moving to Tuesday nights. And I think for me and other fans of wrestling that want to watch that and AEW live at the, different times, I think would be best. Don't know in the long run how well it will work, but I think, it'll help us out. Give me a little more time between, watching NXT on Tuesday, and then I have time to watch it on Wednesday for AEW. So hopefully that's the route they're going. If AEW wants to brag that they won the war, they definitely deserve it because they won most of the ratings battles. So there you go. But of course, we'll get started right away with some Raw talk and kind of look ahead at Fastlane and see where we're going, because next week is Fastlane. So we'll have that prediction show. And then, like I've said many times, we have a whole week worth of WrestleMania talk to do that week. So definitely maybe try to go live here a couple nights, or always catch us on the Facebook, trying to go live every morning during the week, about 7:45 in the morning. So if you can catch it then, if not, just, give it a watch and give it a whirl at the end of the day. So, all right. So let's talk about Raw. Bobby Lashley defeated The Miz in a WWE Championship match. It was a rematch. Miz wanted to make sure he was prepared, and obviously that didn't work out. Then this week we have the Almighty episode, so I'm going to assume Bobby Lashley is heavily featured. Don't think we'll see Bobby Lashley do anything at Fastlane. I think we're going to have Drew McIntyre and Sheamus go at it for a shot at Bobby Lashley. So that's kind of where I think that's all going with that. Next up, we had Shane McMahon and Braun Strowman going back and forth. Oh, people, I don't know what to tell us about this. I just think it's not doing Braun any favors, and I hate that they go the route of the stupidity route, because, the big men have this stupidity act about them. But, we had Shane kind of stammer and stutter his words, trying to, ridicule Braun. And you don't need to go that route. If he wants to screw him over in matches, I think that's fine. If he, whatever he wants to do that way. But this whole idea that, we got to call him stupid and, just make fun of him, it just doesn't work. And I don't know what gimmicky type match they'll go for this. I'm guessing no DQ or something like that. But what's going to be the long term, even not long term, but even the short term after it, what does Braun get out of it? Because we're going to assume he beats Shane McMahon, I would think. But, either way, there's got to be some sort of stipulation attached to this. I did bring up Drew McIntyre and Sheamus kind of fought to, no DQ. They fought in a no disqualification match that ended in no contest. They just went at each other. I mean, if you look on Twitter and just type in Drew McIntyre's back, Sheamus's back, you will see the imprints of the back of the Thunderdome ground and all this. So Drew McIntyre, Sheamus going at it, Fastlane, in a number one contenders match, which Drew should win. So don't know what that means for Sheamus at WrestleMania. Haven't really figured that out. But I do think we're going to see Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania. Xavier Woods defeated Raw Tag Team Champion Shelton Benjamin. And I believe this week we will see New Day get a tag team title shot against the Hurt Business. And will that maybe end a shenanigans? So you can just play it again on Fastlane? I don't know, but we'll kind of see how that plays up. So Matt Riddle defeated Slapjack. And then we are going to get Ali and Riddle for the U.S. title on that same Raw coming up. So the Almighty episode, as they're calling it. I'm kind of debating on back and forth with Ali. Should he win the U.S. title? I mean, Riddle just won it. Would it hurt him? Probably not. I think Riddle can be okay. And it gives Ali and Retribution something more. So, either tag team titles or something. You got to give them something. But then the Hurt Business is doing so good. It's just so hard to push all these guys that need to be pushed at the same time. I feel like there's guys that definitely need stuff and they're just not getting it. And then other guys that, they could use it. But also we did see Naomi and Lana get a WWE Women's Tag Team title match, essentially getting their, championship opportunity out of the way. Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler won with the help of Reginald, and we'll get more, Reggie Nia Jax, I guess they have some sort of, thing going for each other. We saw SmackDown, what happened with them last night. And yeah, it is what it is. I think ultimately, if the idea was just for Reggie to kind of get off, without Carmella, I think that would have been fine. But now he's aligned with Nia Jax, and I don't get it because it's just dumb. I mean, if we just want to be frank about it. And I do like Shayna Baszler playing it up that, we just want to be tag team champions and we don't need this business. So, I like that Shayna Baszler's paying the, we need to be done with this. But also we did see AJ Styles defeat Randy Orton. Alexa Bliss showed up on the screen, made some fire like Kane explosions happen. And then, of course, we saw Randy Orton spitting up the black ooze again, the black goo. And AJ Styles gets that distraction win over Randy Orton. Obviously we keep saying we're going to see, we got to see Bray Wyatt pretty soon. That's what I'm anticipating after Fastlane. I think we got to see him back, that Raw right after Fastlane and kind of get that going. The gimmicky, Firefly Funhouse match. Alexa Bliss will probably be involved as well with that. Overall, Raw, there weren't nothing too terrible. I think Drew McIntyre and Sheamus are definitely putting on some great matches. And, I don't know what they'll add to, maybe Falls Count Anywhere type deal or something like that, or Last Man Standing. I would assume, since this one in no contest, I would think you do Last Man Standing with the number one contendership on the line to go that. And then New Day, New Day and Hurt Business going at it. Like I said, I wonder if I'll maybe get some sort of screwy finish to have that happen again at Fastlane or to keep building it through, to WrestleMania. So other than that was my Raw report. Right next, as you can see, got my notes right here. And we're going to go next up to SmackDown. Then we'll take a little break, get you caught up on AEW and NXT, and then call it a day. So we had Daniel Bryan, Edge come face-to-face. And just really good back and forth. It makes me want to see Edge and Daniel Bryan. And I think we will see Daniel Bryan inserted into the Edge and Roman Reigns match at WrestleMania. I think that normally I'm against multi-man championship type matches at WrestleMania, for the WWE title or the World Heavyweight title or the big titles. But Daniel Bryan, we kind of are seeing the end of his, full-time status. Who knows? Who knows? He might not be around for WrestleMania next year if he wants to be more at home or something like that. And Edge, I think, who knows how many more miles he's got on his body. So it's like they both deserve it. I mean, Edge obviously winning the, I would have loved to see Daniel Bryan win the Royal Rumble just to give him that feather in his cap. But Edge winning it was fine too. So, but I do think we will see Edge, Daniel Bryan, and Roman Reigns all going for the WWE title match the Universal title at WrestleMania down the road. So Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio, and the Street Profits won an 8-man tag match. It was Otis and Gable, and then Rude and Ziggler. Pretty much Street Profits, Rude and Ziggler. That's all we're heading to. I mean, I guess you could throw in Mysterio family, and like I think I've kind of predicted for WrestleMania, I think we'll have a fatal 4-way tag team match. So Street Profits, Dolph Ziggler, Robert Roode, and the Mysterio family versus, Otis and Gable. I think that's fine. Cesaro defeated Murphy by DQ because Rollins came in there and just wreaked havoc all over Cesaro, almost took him out with a chair, and that's what we needed. We needed to see that side of Rollins, and also Rollins saw Nakamura in the backstage. So I would assume we're going to get Rollins and Nakamura, on SmackDown. Maybe Cesaro comes out and takes Rollins out afterwards, but it's kind of interesting that Nakamura and Cesaro used to be a tag team, and now we're probably going to see Nakamura and Rollins go at it. I think that's going to be a fantastic match. And then we'll get Cesaro and Rollins at WrestleMania. And I think that's going to be really telling to see which way it goes. If Rollins wins, it's kind of status quo. I mean, I love Rollins, and I know Rollins can be inserted any title match he wants at this point. Cesaro is the one that needs that win at WrestleMania. They're predicting 40-some thousand fans. I think that would be a huge win for Cesaro at WrestleMania over Rollins. And then, even if Rollins gets the upper hand on that coming SmackDown or whatever, I think that's fine. But I do think Cesaro needs to go over at WrestleMania over Rollins. Natalya and Tamina defeated Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. We saw a little bit of the cracks in the foundation for Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. In this tag match, we had Nia Jax, Reginald, and Shayna Baszler. We also had a ridiculously dumb segment where it was Nia Jax buying stuff for Reginald because, they're in a status ship, I guess is what she called it, whatever. But, it kind of stinks that we just don't have Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax defending the tag team titles against the brands. Since we will bring up what happened on NXT, and I talked about that on Thursday morning. And, we'll get into that. But we saw Natalya and Tamina. I'm going to assume they're going to be at the, WrestleMania match for the women's tag team title. No, there was no sign of the Riot Squad, so maybe they're, not headed there yet. But maybe we'll get the Riot Squad in there. Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke. I guess you could do another kind of multi-women match, for the tag team titles. I mean, I know I already predicted that for SmackDown, but it makes sense. There's definitely the tag teams there to do it. We saw Big E cut one of the best promos of his life. Just talking about how much he wants to wreck Apollo Crews, and that's obviously what we needed. He called out Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews, of course, did not come out. So he said an open challenge. He called King Corbin out. Sami Zayn ran out there with his documentary crew and said he wanted to go out there, so he accepted the challenge. Big E just totally took control of Sami Zayn. And, now we'll probably see Big E. I think they announced Big E and Apollo Crews at Fastlane. I think the big, that's going to obviously end probably screwy to set it up for WrestleMania. I think that's where you want it to be. And then finally, we had the Universal title contract signing between Daniel Bryan and Roman. Roman wasn't going to sign it. Daniel Bryan goaded him into it, just kind of calling him a coward and all this. We saw Edge come out there. Jey Uso was already out there. We saw Edge get speared by Daniel Bryan or get the running knee by Daniel Bryan because we're going to have Edge and Jey Uso in a singles match this coming SmackDown, so next Friday, for the special enforcer, probably a person on the outside. And I think that's where we see Daniel Bryan and Edge coming to blows and kind of get Daniel Bryan involved into the Universal title picture as far as WrestleMania is concerned. So, quick and easy, giving you the lowdown on Raw and SmackDown. Let's take a quick commercial break. Everybody can catch their breath. Everybody can get ready for some NXT talk because there's plenty of things to talk there, and AEW, as there's definitely things to talk there as well. So give you a quick commercial break, and then I'll be right back with all the rest of the news.
What is up, everybody? It's your boy Dan over at BWSports1.com and Black and White Sports. And I'm wondering if you're ready to buy or sell that home, now's the time, and I got just the person for you. Mr. Sean Nugent, a.k.a. Rockstar Realtor himself. 317-503-8322. Put that home on the market. Get into your dream home with this man. Talk to Sean at Talk to Tucker today, 317-503-8322. And make sure you tell him the boys over at BWSports1.com sent you.
All right, and we're back. Thank you for joining us. Definitely go get some realty done with our Rockstar Realtor there. And yeah, we're going to talk up NXT first. So we did have the women's tag team titles, first ever women's tag team titles on NXT presented to Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. And as I will say, they were tag team champions. They unfortunately lost that night to Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon to become the new tag team titles. So we have Blackheart and Moon as the new champions. I think that means Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez get called up. I know we probably want to see Raquel Gonzalez and Io Shirai go at it, but I think it's better suited for Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez to go get the women's tag team titles to kind of make up for that loss. And then, we can break them up whenever they need to. But so we did see Ember Moon, Shotzi Blackheart win the new women's NXT tag team titles. New champions there. Speaking of champions, we saw women's champion Io Shirai defeat Toni Storm, and I have no clue what's next for Io Shirai. I thought this would be better suited for a takeover event, especially since it's 2 nights. You probably could have even main evented with it, but we saw Io Shirai defeat Toni Storm. We saw Pete Dunne defeat Jake Atlas, and then Pete Dunne calling out any superstar, any NXT superstar. I personally would love to see AJ Styles answer that call. I think AJ Styles would be awesome down there in NXT just to wrestle more one night. Maybe do Kevin Owens. I don't know, but I guess that'd be kind of cool to see a former NXT star down there too. But because right now I don't know who is fitted to kind of do that, unless you have Roderick Strong answer it, just kind of get him on his own. But definitely want to see who answers the call for Pete Dunne at NXT Stand and Deliver. Xia Li defeated Kaden Carter via DQ. She got taken out by Casey, even though Casey is hurt. I'm going to assume we're going to get Xia Li and Kaden Carter at Stand and Deliver again with no shenanigans. Just let Xia Li destroy her. We also saw Legado de Fantasma defeat Grizzled Young Veterans, but then Breezango came out there. MSK came out there. So all those teams you think will be some sort of maybe they'll all go after the tag team titles at Stand and Deliver, or they'll do some sort of contender match for them, maybe some ladder match or just something to kind of get all those teams involved. We also saw NXT champion Finn Balor defeat Adam Cole. Kyle O'Reilly came out, and then Finn Balor was standing in the ring and Karrion Kross was behind him. So obviously we have our Stand and Deliver matches for the men's side of things right there. We have Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly. That's going to be booked. I don't know if they'll do anything gimmicky with it, but I do think that's going to be a straight-up match. And then we'll have Finn Balor and Karrion Kross going for the NXT title. That'll be interesting to see if they just pull the trigger back on, put the title back on Karrion Kross since he won it and then separated his shoulder so he couldn't defend it at any point. But I will be interested to see how that kind of all plays out for NXT. Like I said, I don't know what's headed for Io Shirai as far as Stand and Deliver NXT TakeOver is. I could see Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart going against Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. And I feel like I'd almost want the trigger pulled again on another tag team title run. But, can we keep switching it all around? I mean, that's sort of the idea, I think, for me for tag team titles. Maybe every few months it switches just so you can get different tag teams in it. And then, like I've also said, Xia Li and Kaden Carter will probably go at it. Maybe it'll be no DQ. So then Xia Li could just go to town on her in a match at Stand and Deliver. We got a couple weeks left, so we'll see how things play out the next couple weeks for that match, that event. And finally, let's talk up AEW, man. They had a few things come out that were very interesting and telling to see what's headed next. We saw Rey Fenix defeat Matt Jackson. Just a good straight-up match there. Kind of, setting up Rey Fenix and the bastard Pac going after Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson. I'm going to assume we'll get Pac and Nick Jackson going at it. They will go for the tag team titles. I don't know if it'll be – I'm going to assume sooner rather than later because Double or Nothing isn't until the end of May. So that's a long time to kind of stretch out a feud. But we already know Rey Fenix and Pac are the number one contenders for the tag team titles in AEW, so might as well pull it off. Cody Rhodes won a straight-up match against Gargis. Just a kind of a squash match there because essentially we saw Penta El Zero with Alex or I can't remember his name. But anyways, one of the announcers for AEW who speaks Spanish. He kind of, translated for Penta, which I think is kind of an interesting pairing if they go that route. But we're still trying to go see Penta, El Zero, and Cody Rhodes go at it because Penta said, I wanted to break your arm so you can't hold your baby. So there you go. That kind of pulls that feud right there. And I believe that's happening this week on, they're calling it St. Patrick's Day Slam. So we'll see that this Wednesday. Then we saw Kenny Omega out there with the Good Brothers talking up everything. Eddie Kingston came out there. The Good Brothers take out Eddie Kingston. Jon Moxley comes out there. They take out, the Good Brothers. Kenny Omega standing alone to have Christian Cage say, I want the AEW title. Oh, man. I mean, Christian and AEW, fine. I'm glad that he's getting a match, what he's going to do right away. Unlike the Sting stuff, which I'll bring up. Sting talked and talked and talked and appeared and talked and appeared. But now we know Christian Cage, Kenny Omega, I'm going to assume in the next couple weeks will go for the title. Like I said, I don't think you want to wait that out till Double or Nothing, which is at the end of May. But Kenny Omega's going for the Impact Wrestling title. Now I'll be interested to see how that plays out. But Christian Cage getting a AEW World Title match is going to happen, and it is what it is. I don't really have any more thoughts on that. I just think I would love to see Christian finish out the career in WWE. Obviously, they didn't give him what he wanted, so if he still thinks he's got those tires going, the miles on his body, like they say, then just have at it in AEW and kind of see where it goes. Also, speaking of Sting, he started to cut a promo, and then Lance Archer came out there, which is interesting because I thought Lance Archer was leaning towards the face side, but it probably makes more sense for Lance Archer to be a heel. So we'll see Lance Archer and Sting go at it. I wonder if they'll do some sort of compound. I think somebody brought up a compound type match because I think that's what Sting is there for. I don't think we'll see him wrestle much live. I think, kind of give his body enough time to rest and get that all right. But we will see that happen down the road. We saw the heel bunch of Britt Baker, Nyla Rose, and Maki Ito defeat Shida, Mizunami, and Thunder Rosa, kind of playing up the Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker. That really is the only match that's really helping AEW's women's, division right now. That's got the legs to it, but everything else, Shida defeated Mizunami, at Revolution. And, maybe we could have Ito. I believe we're getting Ito and Mizunami at AEW Evolution, which is their new kind of YouTube show, but that'll main event. So that'll be the first time the AEW puts their women in the main event match. But like I said, the whole, this is a WWE traffic. You just throw all the women in a match and nothing really seems to matter other than Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. So we also saw Darby Allin defeat Scorpio Sky to retain the title. Now, we did not see Scorpio Sky give Darby Allin the goodwill that Darby showed him. We saw Scorpio Sky take him out. And I think that's what Scorpio Sky needed. I know we got a lot of heels, but I think Scorpio Sky needed something, kind of differentiate himself from SCU and really make himself a single star. Don't know if he's the one to defeat Darby Allin for that title, but this could be a good feud over the next couple months to build that up if Scorpio Sky were to retain or were to take him out. So, and then finally, we get to the last, main event slot, which is the Inner Circle War console. And this is where all hell broke loose, as the saying goes. But we saw Chris Jericho, MJF say, hey, we need to change things up. And we saw Chris Jericho say, yeah, I think things need to change up. Sammy Guevara came out there and it's like, hey, Chris, I know you don't trust me. I know you don't want to see me right now, but hey, I need you to see this. And it was a backstage segment that was filmed that showed Santana and Ortiz in the back with Jake Hager and entering MJF, who says, hey, you guys ready to do this tonight? We're gonna kick Chris Jericho out. And Jericho's like, wait, what? And so MJF says, hey, Ortiz, Santana, let's go after Jericho. And Hager, they side with Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara to get the original Inner Circle bunch back. They kind of back down MJF into a corner. The lights go out. And MJF says, hey, I've been playing my own faction. And he comes out with FTR, Wardlow, and Shawn Spears. Don't know what they're called, but and I do think we'll see a blood and guts match. I think, if we're having some fans there, maybe we could play that up. We'll see all kinds of different Jake Hager, Wardlow going at it. Maybe Shawn Spears and Jericho going at it. Ultimately, I think for Shawn Spears, it's important that he just steps it up. He just has a click for me in AEW. They've given him different things. This for me is make or break a time for him. If he's so good, if he's as good as he says he is, this is the time. FTR will be fine. They're going to go against Santana Ortiz, kind of let those tag team matches play out. And then like the ultimate goal, I think, of this is to get MJF, Sammy Guevara, Double or Nothing. And that's two young guys. I think they're both under 25, or they're both at 25. They're both under 30 at least. That's your foundation there for AEW. We've heard AEW has multi-year, contract, multi-year TV contract with TNT. So you're building those guys up. That's ultimately what we want to see. MJF, Sammy Guevara go at it and just let them run wild. I don't know what it will play into. Maybe a TNT title shot. That's right where I would go. But I think MJF and this faction will be interesting to watch. And we will probably get some big gimmicky type match with the factions happening. And I think that'll be fun to see. So that's AEW. Like I said, a lot of things to talk about there. As far as, St. Patrick's Day Slam, we're going to see Cody Rhodes, Cesaro, going at it. And we'll also see the Good Brothers go against Moxley and Eddie Kingston. John Moxley, Eddie Kingston. That will be a good hard-hitting match. And then I believe Rebellion, which is Impact Wrestling's pay-per-view coming up. That will be where Kenny Omega challenges whoever wins between Moose and Rich Swann for that title. They're going to combine those titles. So all kinds of stuff connecting there, kind of giving you the lowdown. So thank you for watching. Enjoy your weekend, and catch you guys next week for Fastlane predictions.